The Arizona Cardinals hold off Spencer Rattler's New Orleans Saints. A dub is a dub. We will take it. We are live. PHNX Cardinals from downtown New Orleans on Bourbon Street. We're breaking it all down right now. Hey, welcome in. Live from downtown New Orleans on Bourbon Street, it's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier #1 Arizona Cardinal podcast. Kindly like and subscribe, friends. Leave us a 5-star. The Arizona Cardinals are 1-0 as they get a big, easy dub. 20-13. You sweat in the final half. We will take it. We will welcome our guy Damon Dawg in just a second. Big ups to everybody in the chat. Hammer that like button. Big thanks to everybody back at home in Phoenix holding it down during the watch party. Damon Dawg, my guy, how we living? How'd you feel watching those final minutes?
Just one of those situations for me, Johnny. I was sweating that one, as you said. Spencer Rattler had me sweating a little bit, which is something that I just absolutely, unequivocally never thought that I would say out loud. And yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of a scarier game than I think a lot of Cardinals fans anticipated. I think in a week one matchup, much of the time, you know, it's a situation where teams aren't necessarily showing their full hand. Also, you know, these are all NFL teams, like the margin is so thin, but I would have liked to have seen a little bit more style points tonight from the Cardinals, but ultimately what's important is you get the W. Vegas
knows they cover the spread. It was 6.5. Cardinals win by 7. Speaking of our friends in Vegas, this PHNX Cardinals postgame show presented by our friends at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app today. Use the bonus code PHNX365. Deposit $10, place a $5 bet. You're getting $200 in bonus bets. And I believe our tasty little parlay with Bet365, it hit, whatever, no big deal. Of course, the Marv anytime touchdown. The Cardinals, we're going over on MHJ's total yardage. And then, do we have the money line? We might have teased it up to 10 points. We'll get to that later in the show. Hammer that like button. Everybody joining us. We got 340 already watching live. We appreciate you. We got Brack coming. He's running over from the Superdome as we speak. He's going to be here joining me on set later in the show. We got my guy Damon Dawg from sunny Phoenix. It's really hot here in New Orleans, Damon. I'm not sure if you can notice. I'm sweating my ass off, but most of this came from the game's final minutes. The Cardinals offense, not very good today, did just enough. We're going to get into all of it. But first, Damon Dawg, let's break down our X Factor player of the game. And again, a lot of different choices, specifically on the defensive side, but I'm going to go with Sweet Baby Marv. Hold the line, MHJ. Marvin Harrison Jr. is the X Factor player of the game. 71 receiving yards, 1 touchdown on the day. But it was when the Cardinals needed him most, Damon, in the first half. First possession, not good. What'd they do? They turned around. They said, we're going to go to MHJ deep. We're going to throw a touchdown to the 4th overall pick. And in the second half, a possession that likely gets lost in the shuffle, Damon. Cardinals facing a 3rd and long from inside their own 3-yard line. Marvin goes for 12 yards. That keeps that drive going. That gets more time off the clock. Marvin finishes 70-plus yards, a touchdown today. And I again, there is still, how many times we're going to say this, Damon, meat left on the bone for the 4th overall pick.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, this is a guy who, really wasn't being force-fed the football in this game, but every time that he was given opportunities to get the football in his hands, he made things happen, right? And that's what Marvin Harrison Jr. has pretty much done. I feel like in his entire career, it's why we as Cardinals fans have been pounding the table at more opportunity, more for Marvin. But, you know, it was a big day for him in week 1 here. I think we all have big expectations for Marv in his year 2, and just kind of the leap that he could take this season. And today was an encouraging sign of that. As you say, Johnny, like, still left some meat on the bone there. And he ends up with about 80 yards and a touchdown. Happy to not be, kind of thrilled with the direction of Marvin Harrison Jr. And And also, how about that Bet365 super boost?
Yes.
Marv 50+ yards, Trey McBride 50+ yards, cashing it in the first half.
That's
Please.
You're doing the opposite of me, which is you're not sweating that bet, which is fantastic. The offense was up and down today. I think that's where we have to start. Damon, Dawg, everybody hammer that like button. The goal, 1,000 likes here on a post-game show. Welcome, friends. Arizona Cardinals moved to 1-0. This defense, I thought, was not great, but you still held a team to 13 points in the NFL. Like, you take that 10 out of 10 times. They were robbed an interception by Will Johnson. We're going to talk about that. Pass rush could be better. Here's what I'm chalking this up as, Damon. I was just texting somebody before the show. The Cardinals win. You get your win. You leave town 1-0. You're taking that 10 out of 10 times. To me, this looked like a game in which one team, the New Orleans Saints, hit at the line of scrimmage all of preseason because they had to, because their team is not very good and they have to figure out who can play. And the other side, it looks like Calais Campbell and Josh Sweat haven't hit in the preseason yet. It looks like Jonah Williams is rusty coming off an injury. It looks like Isaiah Adams could have used more time. The Cardinals did just enough to win this game. And I do want to lay this outline from a line of scrimmage standpoint. I think this is an outlier performance for the line of scrimmage. I am going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Cardinals gave up 5 sacks today. That's not in their DNA. That's not who they are. I know they lost Clayton Adams and they brought in Justin Fry. To me, it's like you're on the road. It was very loud in the Superdome. I was there for 3 quarters today. I think the Cardinals' line of scrimmage is going to be much better at against Carolina next week, against San Francisco the week after that. And I think, again, you don't want to hear this if you're a Cardinal fan I expected a robust point total today. I just feel like at the end of the day, the Cardinals, they weren't prepared to hit like the Saints were, but they had better players, better coaching, and Damon, that's why they're coming out of this with a dub.
Yeah, uncharacteristic loss in the trenches, it felt like today, especially from the offensive line, which I feel like really in the Jonathan Gannon era has almost kind of gone under the radar of how good this offensive line play has truly been. Even when the team was porous, they were, the offensive line was pretty much doing their job game in and game out. 5 sacks against a Saints team that doesn't have a lot of expectations this year. I think their D-line is honestly probably one of their better facets of their team, but nonetheless, it's unacceptable. And then conversely, not to like change it up on us, but like I didn't see enough pressure from the Cardinals defense and their defensive line in the other side when the shoe was on the other foot there. So I think you kind of lost the line of scrimmage battle against a team that might be the worst team in the NFL this year, although my Miami Dolphins might have something to say about that.
Yikes.
But
big yikes.
Big yikes. But it definitely felt like there's some things to clean up from a trenches standpoint from the Cardinals side.
Cardinals special teams historically great. They were not good today. They gave up a long return. They had a field goal blocked, right? Like this team just looked rusty. I don't think they got outplayed. I think they beat themselves in certain facets. But here, if I can do the spin zone for a second, I think they got outplayed and they still won by 7 points. I think this is a game like we left the stadium, no one I did, and it was at that point, I think it was like 10 to 20 at that point, or maybe even 20 to 7. The Cardinals had the ball. It felt like the Cardinals they had multiple chances to like go up double digits, and they didn't, and it almost bit them in the ass. The field goal block was bad. The last possession we're going to talk about from Kyler Murray was bad, and 3rd and 3 taken. He took some bad sacks today. It was reported before the game by Adam Schefter. We got a notice from the Cardinals PR staff. Kyler Murray was sick today. Didn't feel well. I think this is just, at the end of the year, all this matters is this was a dub on the road against a team that you don't think is going to be any good. That's what matters. And the Cardinals, by the way, under Jonathan Gannon, have not been a great road team. And the Cardinals, by the way, have not won the opener since 2021. The Saints had won. They were putting it all over the scoreboard, 6 straight openers. So, again, a lot of people are going to look at this and say, the Cardinals didn't beat the Saints by 40 points. They're a terrible team. I think when you slice it down and you look at preseason facets, you look at the Cardinals historically not great on the road in recent years. Again, you covered the spread. You won the spread against the Sharks in Vegas. And to me, style points mattered today. But you didn't turn the football over, right? We know they're going to be able to run the ball at some point, Damon. I think this was an outlier win because I think they're going to have games where it looks much better than this, and they're going to win by many more points.
I'm so with you there, Johnny. I am not concerned about the running game at all, as you mentioned. I think James Conner, this offensive line, Drew Petzing, I feel very comfortable that the Cardinals' run game is going to be top 10 in the league again, like it has been, seemingly every year under Drew Petzing. What I will say, though, is that, one thing that you mentioned there is the Kyler Murray performance today, and I'm a huge Kyler guy. I never once have been a part of the Kyler out brigade. I was pretty underwhelmed by it, Johnny. I'll be honest.
No doubt about it.
I thought, especially early on, happy feet, lots of happy feet, missing some throws, like in some gimme throws that you kind of just need to hit in the NFL 5 yards at a time here and there. And then, the late sacks were just not good. To me, it's like, I don't want to sit here and be like, let's make this into a Kyler Murray, like pile-on fest, because the team did win. And, I have high expectations for Kyler this season, but man, like that wasn't a good showing against a team that in New Orleans Saints that I don't have any expectations for.
No, and we're going to get to it right around the break. I want to talk to Damon about Kyler's performance. I'm going to hand my laptop to producer Noah because it's overheating, because it's flipping 100 degrees outside, but we're not sweating it because we got the dub. Come right back. Hit that like button. Bo Brock's en route from the Superdome. It's PHNX. So fired up to be here as I feverishly pull up our ad reads on my phone. I'm going to tell you right now, our friends at Bet365, I know it by heart because they never let us down. Hammer the bonus code PHNX365 when you sign up. Damon, did you by chance hit on any bets? I did hit on a tasty little three-legged parlay. Cards money line, over on Mar's receiving yards 60, and then, of course, the Marv anytime touchdown paid out well over plus 300s, feeding families. You hit on any bets this morning? We lost our guy Damon, Dawg? Okay, my bad. Well, hey, we'll keep things going here as I pull it up here. Download the Bet365 app. Use the bonus code PHNX365 if you, by chance, deposit $10, put a 5 spot down, and then, of course, you're putting yourself in a position to get $200 in bonus bets. Again, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with our friends at Bet365. Again, right now, become one of the Bet365 faithful. Let's get it back from break, my guy Noah, because frankly, none of my devices are working because it's 110 degrees outside. So we might have to flip to Damon as I try to figure that out. Damon, we still there, my brother?
We are still here, indeed.
Okay.
And do I need to do a quick read for some of our friends at home?
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great if you could hammer out our ad reads because, fair or not, I'm on fire right now. It's so hot, none of the devices are working. Yeah.
No worries, my guy. Let's talk a little bit of Phoenix Raceway. Guys, I know if you guys have been in Phoenix for, a good period of time, you know that they have the Championship Series race in Phoenix at the foothills of the Estrella Mountains at Phoenix Raceway every single year. This year's no different, but next year will be. They're taking things on the road come 2026, so 2025 is your last chance to see the championship race weekend in the Valley. Guys, if you haven't gone out there and taken in the immaculate vibes that are Phoenix Raceway, you got to take advantage of it in your last opportunity to do so. Don't miss your chance to witness NASCAR Championship Weekend in person, coming to Phoenix Raceway October 31st through November 2nd. Tickets for Sunday's Cup Series Championship race sell out every year, so move fast to get yours now before they're gone. And here's the kicker. NASCAR is going on the road for their championship weekend starting in 2026, so here's your last chance to catch it in Phoenix for a while. All the big drivers, all the stars, all the happenings, all the alcohol and liquor you could imagine out there. It's going to be so much fun. Tickets, hospitality, and upgrades are still available. Get yours now at the link in our show notes below.
Yeah, and I want to remind everybody, bets can be used with our friends at Bet365 on totals, player props, futures, and more. Got to be 21 years and older, physically located in Arizona. If you or somebody has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. Text NEXT STEP to 53342 or visit problemgambling.az.gov. My guy, Damon, for more information here. Let's talk a little Kyler Murray. Everybody hit that like button. We got over 500-600 watching on YouTube alone. We appreciate you. If you're new here, welcome, friends. Cardinals move to 1-0. However, Kyler Murray, an inconsistent day. I thought, Damon, after he kind of shook off some of the cobwebs in the first quarter, second quarter, we saw an offense that was explosive, had multiple plays downfield. I thought you got the passing game going with Trey and Marv. And then the second half, whether it was K1, whether it was Drew Petzing, the targets, just not good enough. The second half was almost like the Cardinals thought, we're going to be able to run the football, go into cruise control, get out of here. And it was ugly. I mean, your defense, I know people are chipping on the defense because you're not getting a bunch of takeaways and TFLs. The defense got the Cardinals back the ball several times. I mean, the Saints didn't score a touchdown for the final 3 quarters of this game. So I don't want to put anything on a defense that gives up 13 points. That's a good defensive performance. I don't care who you are. An offense that last year, Damon, averaged almost 23 points per game, only 20 points today on the road. I mean, Damon, at what point it's just like, guys, you've had ample time to figure this out. Yes, you take the dub, but 20 points, Damon, is not going to be good enough to beat the elites in the NFC, my guy.
No, it's definitely not going to be. And you're right. Like the offense tonight, I think that second quarter in particular, especially that end of half drive was immaculate. And that was something that, seeing the shovel pass to James Conner, the ingenuity of that scheme on offense from Drew Petzing, like that's the type of stuff Cardinals fans have been begging out for the entire Jonathan Gannon tenure. And then what do you do out of halftime? After a halftime speech, you'll roll back out the exact same offense we saw in the first quarter at the start of the game. And it just looked lackluster again. And Kyler Murray's taking sacks and the team is just kind of playing passive football. You can tell that they're not really trying to push it and be dynamic. They know they have the lead. I'd like to see this team maybe just try to go out there and step on somebody's throat. You know what I mean? Like maybe it's time to stop just playing for just trying to get a win here and there. Maybe it's time to start putting it on a team and getting a 2-touchdown lead on them in the first half or something.
Listen, again, I preface all this by saying it's hard to win on the road in the NFL. We get that, we know that. The Denver Broncos frauded it up to 10 wins last year, made the playoffs. Cardinals are 1-0, and we're excited about that. I'm going to tell you right now, the best version of this Cardinals offense this year is not with a running game. It's Kyler Murray targeting 85 and 18. And what happened when you did that? Even Kyler Murray on an off day today, and there are going to be people who are anti-Kyler Murray, and I get that, and you're never going to sway those people unless you win a division title and playoff games, and maybe that's fair. But Kyler Murray, it's there were plays to be made to his playmakers. He got them the ball. He's facilitated, and guess what? Yak from Marv, yak from Trey McBride. Why then are we allowing ourselves to sit here and say, well, let's go to Elijah Higgins, let's go to Tip Ryman, let's go to DeMercado out of the backfield? I don't think Marv got enough looks in the second half. I think he had 7 catches on about 8 to 9 targets. I think that number should have been way higher. I thought Trey McBride's number should have been higher. And yes, Kyler Murray missed him on a couple gimme throws. But then after that same possession where Kyler Murray opened the possession, he missed 2 straight throws to Trey. On third down, he hits Trey down the seam. You just go to it until it doesn't work. And right now, today, it was obvious, Damon, the run game wasn't working. James Conner couldn't get going outside of a long run by Trey Benson. That juiced up the numbers on the ground, especially with Kyler's couple scrambles. It was the Saints had no answer for 85 and 18. And I feel like Drew gets into these bad habits. And again, Kyler Murray too, where it's let's play it safe, let's dink and dunk, let's go 3-4 yards, let's move the chains. And it's or you can, Damon, as you put it, go for a team's throat. The Saints were ready to quit. If the Cardinals had put one more touchdown on the board, it would have gone 27-7. That game would have been well over. It would have been bad for us because we weren't going to be ready to start the postgame in time as we're running back from the Superdome. But go for a team's jugular. And I think you still have chances to do that. They're going to put on the tape this week, Damon. They're going to say, second quarter, this is what worked. This should be our identity moving forward. And again, we're not asking a lot here. Guess what the Cardinals didn't do? They didn't complete a pass to Zay Jones. They didn't have a bunch of targets to Michael Wilson. No one's asking for Cliff Kingsbury, Damon, 10 personnel. But what we are asking for is, hey, Kyler Murray, let's throw for 250 yards and let's facilitate to 18 and 85 because they give us our best chance to win. The Cardinals, I repeat, the Cardinals are not good enough, and we saw this last year, to have a run-dominant offense with just one primary target in 85 and get to the playoffs. Even with their revamped defense, they're not good enough to do that. You have to feature 18. He has to be a focal point. They were dead and buried in that first quarter. I watched every play up close in the stadium. The game changed when they had a deep shot to Marv. The game changed when they prioritized him and allowed him to play center in the red zone. Let your freaks like Will Johnson and Marv take these games over. Stop being hesitant to do that. I know it's Drew. It's against your DNA, and Kyler Murray was inconsistent. Let it rip downfield, Damon. They have ample time now to fix it. They got a week to figure it out against the Carolina team that looked up and down today. But you know what the best feature of this offense is? It's going to your 2 playmakers.
Yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr., 5 catches today for 71 yards, 14 yards per catch, a touchdown on 6 targets there, Johnny. So just one of those targets falling incomplete. And then Trey McBride, 9 targets, 6 receptions, 61 yards, 10 yards per reception. It's that target number compared to completions for McBride isn't like the most insane number ever, but I think it does just go to show that good things happen when you throw these 2 players in particular the football, and that's got to be the DNA of this Cardinals team all season long. Is where's Marvin Harrison Jr., where's Trey McBride? How can we get the ball in these guys' hands, and how can we get the ball in these guys' hands with some space too, in particular with Trey, because he's the type of player that he can turn a nothing play into a something play.
Yep.
And it wasn't the greatest offensive showing tonight, but I'm just glad that they got the job done, even in an off night. I think that in and of itself shows some progress and this team turning a new leaf to being like a legitimate team that is to be reckoned with in the NFL.
Yeah, and I think it gets Marv the narrative off of his back that he's not a big-time player. I mean, 70 yards, should have had more. Cardinals dicked around in the fourth quarter, had a touchdown. I mean, he and Trey, that's the game plan. Marvin Harrison Jr. should have 1,400 yards this year and 10-plus touchdowns. We saw on full display. He ought to go against a Carolina team that's not very good next week and cook them in the secondary too. I get it. I know you want to run the football. At the end of the day, this is a passing league for a reason. We're going to come right back around the corner. I believe we're going to count some cards here. And then we're also going to hear from head coach Jonathan Gannon, who joined Bo Brack and the rest of the media. We're still waiting word from Kyler Murray. Bo Brack is en route as we sweat it out here. Well, no, sweat it out. Cardinals are 1-0. We're live from downtown New Orleans. It's PHNX. Want to remind everybody of our friends at Zen Leaf Dispensary. Man, oh man, I was jonesing for some Zen Leaf Dispensary, Noah, man, as we were sweating out those final minutes. I had to pull it up on GameCast. It was a nightmare world, but thankfully the Cards got it done. Zen Leaf Dispensary, they're going to get it done for you. Check this out for a limited time. Use promo code ZEN, Z-E-N, PHNX, for 50% off. That's right, 50% off. Just make sure you're stocking up when you can with our friends at Zen Leaf Dispensary. So the next time you're pre-gaming, you're post-gaming, or just need to chill out after a rough fantasy week, head to their website link in the dispensary, the description below, or visit one of their, not one, not two, not 7, 8 locations to find them right now. Again, Zen, PHNX, 50% off. Zen Leaf, great weed, great service every single time. We have such great partners here. One of my absolute favorites is our friends at Branded Bills. Branded Bills, it's the only headwear I wear. I wear this hat, and then everything else is Branded Bills. I've upgraded. You should too. Premier headwear at not a premium price, by the way. Whether you need snapbacks, fitteds, truckers, beanies, Branded Bills has you covered with performance and style. They've partnered up with 40 partners with universities, including ASU, U of A, as a part of their campus collection. Also partnered with the Phoenix Suns. Ever heard of them? Check them out right now. Locally owned, operated from Mesa, Arizona. Head to brandedbills.com. That's brandedbills.com. Bonus code BB, PHNX, for 15% off your first purchase. Again, I buy my own Branded Bills gear because I believe in it. I love it. You can too. Head to brandedbills.com. Noah, man, as we welcome Damon back to the stream, are we ready? Want to queue up some Jonathan Gannon? Not yet, so we don't have JG yet, but let's maybe count some cards here on a post-game show. Getting things started, Damon, Dawg, counting cards. Kyler Murray, as we mentioned, 2 total touchdowns here on a post-game show. Again, not great, but Damon, here's a positive. He didn't turn the ball over today. We don't know how sick he was. There's a lot of stuff going around. Maybe he had food poisoning. We're at TBD. We're going to ask Bo Brack about that. But again, 2 touchdowns is 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, it is. And here's the other positive out of it for me, Johnny, at least, is when the game is over, and I don't know if you were able to catch this because I know you were having to kind of scramble back, but they put Kyler Murray on screen right when the game went final. And he was pretty pissed off, man. He was not happy. He was shaking his head. He, he said something to somebody who came up to him. Like, you could tell that he was very unsatisfied with his own personal performance today. And to me, at least, that's fairly encouraging going into the rest of the season. Just that, Kyler knows, like, it's not news to him that he didn't play well today.
Yeah, I mean, again, you were a winning quarterback. You had 2 touchdowns. You didn't turn the ball over. I don't have his rushing yards in front of me because I'm melting here, but over 160 yards passing. Again, at the end of the year, you lump that into his statistics. I think that's going to be a positive. Here's a positive. Budda Baker, good at football. Game-saving deflection at the end of the game. 10 total tackles for the Arizona Cardinals. Pro Bowl safety, a stalwart, a captain, getting it done. I know it was against Spencer Rattler, but it's on the road. It's in a hostile environment. Damon, I attest, you want to play the Saints at the end of the year. This Saints team is going to be atrocious. They're going to have quit. They're going to, with all due respect, they're going to be talking about a new quarterback, maybe a new head coach. We went into that stadium today. It was packed. Their fans were fired up. A lot of Cardinal fans, too. But Budda Baker separated them from a potential win, and now you separate them from the belief that they're any good, right? And so the Cardinals had to deal with that belief. You know how powerful it can be for bad teams early on, Damon, to have that false sense of hope and security.
Budda Baker just does what he always does, Johnny. He just racks up an insane amount of tackles.
Yeah.
He's kind of in and around the play in a lot of these big-time play situations. He had that kind of somersault pass breakup, I believe, on Juwan Johnson that was nice late in the game. That's just Budda Baker ball. We're used to it at this point. It's almost like become like we're just so accustomed to seeing it. But yeah, I mean, another double-digit tackle performance out of our safety.
Yeah,
like it's crazy that we just kind of scoff at that these days.
It's like no big deal. Just another day at the office, and his debut at the office, Will Johnson. I mean, could it have gone any better? Will Johnson, the 47th overall pick that was gifted to this franchise, ends the day with 3 pass breakups. Should have had, was robbed NFL officiating from his first career INT, and then probably the highlight of the day for this team, absolutely decleated Chris Olave, temporarily knocking him out of the game. I'm just going to say this wholeheartedly. We have a potential Pro Bowl, all-pro caliber player in Will Johnson. The only thing that will stop Will Johnson, knock on the biggest piece of wood, is health. If he is healthy, we were called fanboys and shills during training camp. I watched it with my own 2 eyes every single day in practice. That's what he looked like. That is a supremely gifted player that's going to be, at the end of the year, the best cornerback on this roster and eventually one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. It's just a special performance by, at the end of the day, a player that was gifted to this franchise, Damon. There's no other way to put it.
Yeah, that was cinema today, Johnny.
It was.
What we saw out of Will Johnson. Like I'm not even like trying to like overdo it or whatever. Like that was a moving performance.
Yeah.
And for it to be your first week, the ball skills on that interception, Johnny.
Yeah.
I mean,
he looked like the receiver
route for the wide receiver.
Yeah, he looked like the wide receiver. He is a special player. We almost put him as our player of the game. With all due respect, I gave it to Marv because Marv carried this offense today. But, like, you think about a Cardinal fans, it's like Marv and Will Johnson. I mean, those are 2 cornerstone blue chippers that you're going to be building around. Those are players that, at the end of the day, are going to win you a ton of games in this league. It just looked different. And eventually, this pass rush is going to get going. Eventually, the tackling is going to get cleaned up. The run defense is going to be there. And then guys like Will Johnson and Garrett Williams are really going to have a chance to tee off and intercept some balls and take the football away. Like, one facet today's game that was too bad is, I mean, if Will Johnson picks that pass off, I don't know if the Saints score a touchdown today. They probably don't, because that was the inevitable drive where Kamara broke a bunch of tackles. Kamara was fantastic, by the way.
He was.
We watched him, close up. He was securing runs through the line of scrimmage with minimal holes. He's a Hall of Fame level player. And again, like, you get beat by that guy, you tip your cap. What you couldn't let happen is a guy like Spencer Rattler, who is winless, by the way, in his career, consistently not being able to score over 20 points in his career. Like, you couldn't allow him to beat you today. But you hold your hands up and say, Kamara at home, the Saints offensive line is probably the strength of their team. Kelvin Banks Jr. has been great. Fuaga, the interior offensive lineman they got last year from Oregon State. They've got, what's his name, the kid from Texas is a center, Eric McCoy. Like, their offensive line is good. They just don't have a good quarterback, and you couldn't lose to him today. Again, if you're just joining us, hammer that like button. Bo Brock en route from not State Farm Stadium, the Superdome here, as he's just chatted with Jonathan Gannon. I believe he's chatting with Kyler Murray. Noah Man's going to let me know when we've got some JG presser highlights ready to go, and then we'll probably know rapid fire those when they are queued up. So you just give me a thumbs up, my guy, when those are rocking and rolling. We're rocking and rolling here. I want to thank everybody. Become a diehard. GoPHNX.com. Welcome to a ton of new diehards. If you weren't here in New Orleans, it was a sight to behold. Just yesterday, 150-plus Cardinal fans are right here with me. They've been with us all weekend, 150-plus, dominating Bourbon Street. We had a bunch of diehards with us, rocking PHNX Cardinals, PHNX sports gear. It was a sight to behold. We appreciate all of you right now. If you're on the fence, consider this, $3 a month. $36 for the year. Become a diehard right now, and you're going to get a free T-shirt, a free piece of merch of your choosing from the ALLCITY Network merchandise locker. Of course, we've got our branded Bills collection there. Frankly, all of our PHNX sports gear absolutely is fire, but we've got our touchdown tee, MHJ, K1. And again, why not rep a company? It's part of a 1-0 squad here in the early going of 2025. Damon, Dawg, how was the watch-along, my guy? A robust watch-along, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, it was absolutely electric vibes as football starts back up here, and we get to, gamble all of our money away and drink beer and sit on the couch like the good Lord intended. But Johnny, I don't mean to one-up you here, but we actually we're doing a new exclusive membership type program here at PHNX Sports today. I know you're talking about the diehard stuff. Go please sign up to be a diehard. $36 for the year. It's such a steal. You get a free T-shirt with it. That's a $35 value. But our supporters club that we released today, Johnny, you could find yourself with a nice handy little badge next to your name on YouTube.
Hell yeah.
If you sign up to be one of our founding members of our supporters club for just $5 a month on our YouTube page. In the chat, it'll give you a nice little banner insignia. There's a hold the line one, which, of course made my heart happy. There's one that just says live, like Johnny says every day from Studio K. And we're going to keep adding to those. You can kind of customize it for whatever your favorite PHNX Cardinals, PHNX sports kind of thing is. So, yeah, sign up to be in the supporters club today. You can join the Hall of Fame tier as well for $15 a month. That unlocks some extra bonus content. We're going to be doing some vlogs and stuff on that. But altogether, Johnny, this is not a situation where we're going to be putting extra content behind a paywall. This is just another way to support PHNX sports, support PHNX Cardinals, and just kind of support what we got going on over here.
Love that. Become a supporter today. We've got Jonathan Gannon, presser clips. Noah Man, let's roll the tape.
I thought it was good. He woke up with a little bit of a bug. I was kind of going around, honestly, a little bit. Nothing serious, but it was going around. But, yeah, there was no threat of him missing week one. I know that.
Kyler Murray woke up with a little bit of a bug, according to head coach Jonathan Gannon. Didn't look particularly well walking in. Everybody kind of took what they wanted from that Kyler video that the team tweeted out, Damon. And frankly, there were a lot of amusing captions that come with that. But we all know what it's like. You wake up, you feel like, ass, and you have to go to work, and you had to power through. And again, no one's going to sit here from a national perspective or as haters locally and say, hey, Kyler Murray, thanks for gutting it out for your team and getting a road win. I will say that right now. If he's got the flu, if he's got, the rum-tums, if he had some bad food here in New Orleans, which is tough to find, but it does happen, and he went out there and he led his team to victory instead of saying, I'm good, Jacoby, you go play. That, to me, a win is a win is a win on the road. And he didn't have any turnovers. He had roughly 200 total yards. If there's a game for Kyler Murray to not feel well and get the flu, let's have it against New Orleans. But, again, a little context goes a long way, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And, it's as we were talking about in the last segment, Johnny, if you're going to have a game where, you look porous and things are not going your way, end it with a W.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, people will feel a whole lot better about how things ended up and went in that performance. If the Cardinals had lost this one, the Kyler discourse would be absolutely out of control.
It would be bad.
The fact that they were able to get the W kind of, muzzles that a little bit. But like we were talking about, he was not good in this game. You can't beat good teams in this league with that kind of performance from your quarterback. And, he's going to have to play better next week against the Panthers, although, they're not necessarily some juggernaut team. They don't have a great defense.
Did they lose today, Damon?
What was that?
Did they lose today? I have no concept of the early game windows, who won, who lost. My technology is down. I almost got lost to the streets of New Orleans, Bourbon Street, and so I need you to give me a breakdown of what's happening.
Yeah, I got you. The Jaguars are currently beating the Panthers 23-3, Johnny.
Ooh.
There's 5 minutes left in that one. There was a weather delay, so it caused this one to go super late. But
got it.
The Panthers don't look like a good football team.
Bad.
And you can't let them beat you twice in 6 weeks of football if you're the Arizona Cardinals.
Yep.
So, that's going to be a big one for sure. But, Johnny, I actually had a question for you that I needed to ask you. And I meant to get this in during our Will Johnson conversation, but I wasn't unable to.
Yeah.
You were up in the press box today at the
was.
Superdome. Big J in it. You do.
Yeah.
I mean, no one's a bigger J than Johnny Venerable.
Correct.
What was it like to not be able to go after the refs and their families for that horrendous soft call on Max Melton that nullified the first interception of Will Johnson's career?
I may have unprofessionally dropped an expletive in the press box and had several stares, but at the end of the day, that just shows you how much I get it, how much I'm going to get it, and how much of a fan I am of this team. It was really disappointing. It was gross. The Saints were leaving the field. They thought it was done. Spencer Rattler was ready to concede at that point. And then, the officials said, we're gonna let you stick around. Here's what I will say, though. The officials gave the Cardinals a couple calls as well. There were a couple plays where the Cardinals were gifted some additional possessions extended offensively, and then defensively, I think they were gifted some calls too. So, I think you can say, all the way around the officials were bad. It was not just directed at the Cardinals. Had it been just directed at the Cardinals, they probably lose this game, honestly. The Cardinals were gifted calls just like the Saints were. So that was just – it is what it is. But listen, whether he had the interception or not, it doesn't discredit how good Will Johnson is. It's still going to show up on, highlight tapes. It's still going to allow people to see the special qualities of Will Johnson. We're going to go to break. We're going to come back. We got more Jonathan Gannon presser clips. We got Bo Brack. Maybe he's been lost to the streets of New Orleans. Maybe not. Hopefully we get him on set. We're fired up here. Hit that like button. Over to 600 watching live right now. We're baking in the sun and basking in the glory of 1-0. It's PHNX. So fired up right now. All of our many partners who allow us to do cool stuff like this, go on the road, have a blast, just like our friends at Game Time. Game Time right now, if you look around the ticket scene, just like the betting scene, it can be hit or miss, right? You can always trust our friends at Game Time. I swayed away from Game Time a few months ago when I bought some pro wrestling tickets. It did not go well for your boy. Never again. We've got Game Time premier packages happening right now. You can get tickets under $50 for the opener next week with our friends at Game Time against the Carolina Panthers. Game Time is your premier ticketing app, Damon, Dawg. Again, right now, what we want to do, we want to use the bonus code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Again, terms and conditions apply. Create an account right now. If you're thinking, well, I want to go to the opener next week, I want a cheap ticket, go to Game Time. You can wait a few days. Procrastinators are rewarded. Hammer in the bonus code PHNX for $20 off. You're going to be set. Not only can you get tickets, you can get parking passes, specialty events, concerts, right? I missed my chance to go to Sabrina Carpenter. We will forge her on here. Tap Ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today. Lowest ticket guaranteed. Fired up about our friends at Game Time, Damon.
Yeah, Game Time is the only place to buy tickets, and Rally House is the only place to buy your sports memorabilia, whether it's a hat, a shirt, a sweatshirt, a jersey, a deck of playing cards, your dog's collar, a doormat in front of your house, you name it. Rally House, they sell it, and they sell it for your team branded specifically. It's the go-to spot to shop for all your favorite local Arizona team gear with tens of thousands of products to shop from and locations in Tempe, Mesa, and Glendale. One thing I love about Rally House, Johnny, when I look it up on my Maps app of choice, I type it in. There's 3 Rally House locations, 1 East Valley, 1 West Valley, and 1 centrally. Does it get any better than that? There's something for everybody. And, of course, as I said, you're not going to walk in and find a bunch of Dodgers, Ohtani crap.
Gross.
You're going to see Arizona sports teams that we love, Cardinals, Suns, D-backs, U of A, ASU, and nothing else. They only carry Arizona sports teams. Hit up Rally House today. Find your local Rally House location and shop their entire product assortment online at www.rallyhouse.com.
Good stuff, Damon, Dawg. No, man, let's get to some more JG presser clips. What else did the head coach of the Cardinals have to say?
I thought he played pretty good. One time he wasn't on the right guy, and it happened quick, but he was just a little late getting to it. But thought he held his own, and that was one of the keys to victory is no balls over our head, and I thought we did that tonight. They really stood up when they needed to, too. I thought there was a span in there. I liked how we started the half. I loved how we ended the half on offense to go down there, get points, and kind of not give them a ton of time there. And then coming out, you're looking at the score and you need to get a stop. And we went 3 and out, forced a punt. That was good.
That big connection to Marv.
Yeah, that was good. That led to a touchdown. You know what I mean? And I think the one Trey Benson run maybe got to a field goal there off that one. Typically, when you have some explosives, you got a chance to score points. I thought the one 3rd down, 2 off the top of my head, Kyler extended and hit Trey. That was a huge play. That was a 3rd and long. Those can be backbreakers for you on defense. So it was good. I thought Kyler operated well, did what he had to do.
Did what he had to do, did Kyler Murray, according to his head coach. And again, no one's apologizing for wins. You want to win in the NFL. Cardinals got it done. They covered the spread. It wasn't pretty at times. They should have, frankly, blown this team out by upwards of 20-plus points. Again, you got a lot of things to work on. It's always kind of like those best wins for coaches, Damon, when you can say, hey, we got out of here with a dub, but there's still a lot for us to correct. So nobody's going to be feeling great about themselves if you're a Cardinal going into film on Monday, prepping for a Panther team that's dog water right now. I think this is, in a weird way, a nice place to be if you're Jonathan Gannon, because you can rip people's ass on Monday morning and say, hey, defensive line, not good enough. Hey, offensive line, what happened? Hey, Kyler Murray, be more consistent. Let's get some separation. Let's tackle better. So, again, I think they're going to come out enthused, reinvigorated to play at home, and I think they're going to have a much better performance, Damon. I know it's not saying a lot against Carolina in week 2.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that the real sicko ball lovers out there, like a Jonathan Gannon, probably do look at a performance like this one. You get the W, and there's a lot to correct, and they love that, right?
Yeah.
Like Gannon's going to dive into the tape tonight with Rawlis and with Petzing, and they're going to figure out what they need to get done to fix some things. But I think that's almost a coach's dream of sorts. But Mr. Fat Gangster puts here in the chat, Johnny, that Sweaty J was taking a dump in JV's Prius. what was going on with our guy Josh Sweat today? We didn't really hear his name called too much.
He had a couple initial pressures. He and Darius, I thought, looked pretty good in the first half. They had the opening possession, which looked great. I am putting it squarely on the fact that, these guys have not played against live reps the entire offseason. Don't give me training camp reps. I'm at training camp. Bo's there every day. They're not hitting like they are in games. You're trying to keep people healthy. That's why I was such a big proponent of playing starters in the preseason. Not because Johnny's cares about the end result, the win-loss record, but because you want those guys to feel good about popping some pads for 3 weeks before you have 2 weeks off. And they had essentially 5 weeks off of that. We were in Denver for joint practices. That was the last time that they hit an opponent. How long ago was that? Noah, was that a month ago? And so now you're sitting here and you're like, you don't look physical. You're not tackling well. The offensive line can't block well. The Cardinals lost. You can make an argument the Cardinals lost on both lines of scrimmage today and won handedly. That rarely happens in the NFL. Usually the line of scrimmage tells the tale of which team outperformed the other in the final score. And that, again, I think that's a byproduct of how talented the Cardinals are, but you're not going to beat good teams that way. But you're telling me Calais and Dalvin Tomlinson and Sweaty J and Zaven Collins and Baron Browning, although Browning has a sack, are going to look like that every week? No. Mack Wilson Sr. is a great player. He was off today. The week 1 outliers, look around the NFL, I guarantee you it's the teams that are more physical today, whether or not they won or not, are the teams that were popping pads in the preseason. And again, that's a learning curve for JG next preseason. This year it was I'm only going to play my rookies after not playing anybody. Next year, everybody needs to play, Kyler Murray included. I think Kyler Murray would have benefited unequivocally from playing in the first 3 preseason games. Again, but we can nitpick this because they won today. Think about the ass chewing that would be happening if they lost to this horror show of a team, this Saints team that nobody believes in here in 2025. So I am not going to overreact. I think this defense that gave up only 13 points is going to be dominant by the end of the year. I think if you look at defensive DVOA at the end of the year, they are going to be firmly in the top 10. It is about, for me, Damon, points scored, points allowed. That's what matters. The defense, 13 points today. The offense, 20 points. Not good enough. I still think as much as people are disappointed with this pass rush, the offense let the team down again today. It's crazy as that sounds. I think if you're Drew Petzing, like, you got to be better. You have to be better for 4 quarters, not 1 quarter, not in the second quarter, the entire game.
The offense was absolutely more the issue than the defense today.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. I think that's more of just a factor of like a combination of you invest so many resources into the edge rusher position and the defensive line in general. You have a defensive-minded head coach in Jonathan Gannon, and everybody knows that. And then you make like the big time additions in like a Josh Sweat, and it doesn't really come to fruition right away. So I think that that's like people are gonna be focused in on that because they expect a great defense this year. But you're right. Like the offense was definitely much more the more lackluster side of the ball for me. The other thing for the Cardinals defense that I think people are partially putting into their analysis of the game is that might have been the best that Spencer Rattler has ever looked in the NFL.
Probably, and that's a low bar, but
very low bar.
He's got a better. Kellen Moore can do some good things with quarterbacks. Like he was good with Dallas. He was good with Jalen Hurts. Like that. You're right, 100%, Damon. Go ahead, finish your thought.
No, I was just that was it basically. Just that Spencer Rattler is he's been so terrible in the NFL really, and this game he was pretty good. And I'm not saying he wasn't like world beating, but he was putting the ball in the right spots, and the Cardinals were making him beat them. And there were some times where he was. So I think that has a lot to do with it too. People expected you to just make Spencer Rattler look pedestrian, and he looked kind of okay, like he belonged in the league.
Yeah, I'm a fan of this defense. I think this defense is going to play better next week than they did this week, and I think that's going to continue. I think this offense, if you're Jonathan Gannon, it's like, guys, we gifted you several possessions. You went backwards, penalties. The run game wasn't there. Kyler Murray inconsistent, missing throws. This offense, we know the defense is going to show up. Is the offense going to show up enough over 17 weeks to get this team to the postseason? That's going to be the major question mark. We're going to come right back around the corner. We're going to count some cards. We're going to go by the numbers. We're going to get, I think, some presser clips from not only Marv but Kyler Murray, so stick around for that. Again, Bo Brack, I've been told, he's en route. He's on his way, coming from the Superdome. We're not going anywhere. Get those super chats in. Hammer that like. It's PHNX. Man, what an environment it's been all week long here in New Orleans. It's hot, it's heavy, and the Arizona Cardinals come out with a dub. But you can be a dub with one of our many partners. We're so fired up with all of our partners, including our friends at Circle K right now. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Again, I love New Orleans, but I'm broke right now. Things are expensive here. Damon Dawg, Noah Man was telling me last night he spent upwards of $50 on 3 slices of pizza. Times are tough. I'm going to tell you where you're not going to pay $50+ for 3 slices. How about $5 for 2 slices with our friends, I don't know, at Circle K? Join the Inner Circle. Don't take for granted having a Circle K right around the corner. It feeds families, literally and figuratively. Plus, they've got the $3 meal deal, the hot dog or tornado. Select Frito-Lay's chips, Polar Pop up to 44 ounces. You absolutely love to see that. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for more details. Again, hammer that like button for our friends Damon at Circle K.
Yeah, and I have another sponsor that I need to talk to you guys about, and I need to talk to my guy Noah Wolbricht about, because if you're going to be spending $50 on 3 slices of za, rough. Maybe it's time to download the Monarch Money app, log in, sign up, use our promo code, get 50% off your first year on Monarch Money with code PHNX, and they're going to go ahead and they're going to tell you right away, hey man, that pizza money, that expenditure on the pizza, that's not in the budget. No. That is not within the budget. And that's what Monarch Money is for. They're a budgeting app. They do it differently. They tell you, about those subscriptions that maybe you got just lurking in the background. We all probably have them, right, where they're just, funneling $10, $15 out of our account every month.
Terrible.
Monarch Money is on top of that. They make sure that you're not overspending, that, there's not things that are going unnoticed. And like I said, with our promo code of PHNX, you can get 50% off your first year of Monarch Money services. A year is just an insane promo code there. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code PHNX at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code PHNX.
We got presser clips. Before we get to that, let's go by the numbers via our friends at Desert Financial Credit Union. Again, I've got Desert Financial. They are money. Cardinals, they don't win too many of these categories today, but they still get it done. The big number, though, of course, the sacks allowed. Of course, Spencer Rattler's New Orleans Saints, they get 5 sacks today. It's very unfortunate. You would have assumed that would have been flipped. This Cardinal offensive line only gave up 28-29 sacks throughout the entirety of last year. And so to give up 5 sacks in the opener, and again, a lot of people are going to point to, well, Justin Fry comes in for Clayton Adams. Clayton Adams, by the way, had a good night going for Dallas on Thursday Night Football. I thought Dallas's all-line played well. It's just going to take some time. But again, these are the games that you can afford to be slow out of the gate. And so, again, Cardinals rushing yard, I think it's a little skewed, 146 to 107. Here's where I'm at with that. Trey Benson had some juice. His best play as a pro, Damon, the 52-yarder, plus the fact Kyler Murray rushed for, a decent amount. This was not James Conner's day. But it was not James Conner's day, and Kyler Murray was inconsistent, and you still won the game. And then the passing yards, unfortunately, were in heavy favor of a Saints team that was thrown from behind. Cardinals playing a little prevent defense there toward the end, so there was a little bit more for Rattler and company to get gimme yards, if you will. But, I mean, like this Saints team, I just watching them in person, like Cardinals play their kind of game today. This is a 20, 25-point victory. It's easily that. I'm sure it looked like that on TV or where you're watching with Red Zone, but again, did they let the Saints stick around? Yeah, because they were poor on the line of scrimmage on both sides. Kyler Murray was inconsistent. The special teams weren't good. That's not going to happen every week. Damon, what do you think about when you look at these numbers?
I think that sack total obviously jumps off the screen at you. Can't be losing the sack margin like that weekly, especially not when you play a team like the New Orleans Saints, especially not when you drafted Darius Robinson in the first round last year. You drafted Walter Nolan in the first round this year. You paid Josh Sweat the most money of any edge rusher in free agency this year. You brought back Baron Browning. Like you drafted Jordan Burch in the third round, who looked pretty good today, by the way.
Yes, he did.
I think, when you invest that many resources, you got to see the pass rush come to fruition on your own side. And yeah, it was just, first game without Clayton Adams, new O-line coach, Justin Fry in the building. Like, the O-line didn't look good today. Kyler Murray also probably bears some of that blame, especially on maybe the final 2 sacks, I'm thinking in particular, where he's kind of running around a little bit more aimlessly. Like, sometimes, it's a blessing and a curse with Kyler, right? It turns into big plays, and sometimes it turns into a 20-yard sack, and it's super debilitating. But it's that sack number for me. I got to see the Cardinals get home next week.
We're going to get home here with our guy, Bo Brack, who's making his way over to the Copacabana here. Big thanks to our friends at Bird Gang Travel, absolutely crushing it this weekend. Again, if you're looking to travel anywhere and everywhere with the Arizona Cardinals on the road this year, Bird Gang Travel is the one and only option. I promise. Premier seats today. Everybody said the seats were fantastic. The food, the vibes, the entertainment. Jake Plummer all weekend. It's A+. It's A+ first-notch stuff. Kyler Murray, probably not an A+ performance. Here's Kyler Murray earlier at the presser.
I think so. I know it's minute and small. Like, it looks easy, right? But I think that maybe last year we don't connect on that. But I'm just glad we did. He played his ass off today. I could feel the confidence. I could feel the progression. And his mindset, his game, and just, I'm very confident where he's at, and I hope he feels good about it today.
Kyler Murray talking about the rapport with Marvin Harrison Jr. Let's hear from the number 1 receiver.
The deep ball. I think that's always the biggest story between us is be able to connect on those deep balls and explosive plays. All season I've been trying to tell him just put some air on it. I think he put some air on it and I made a play there. It's hard when you're having. When you're connecting, with Kyler and, you're getting completions, you get that rhythm naturally. It's kind of like a flow state, you kind of just go out there and play a little bit. But so definitely it's very depending on how the game's going for me.
Marvin Harrison Jr. finishes with 5 receptions on 8 targets in this game, Damon, Dawg. And again, I made the argument consistently, and maybe this is just how the game was dictated. There's no excuse for Marv not to have 10-plus targets every week. And again, like, you look at this team, their inability. Oh, there we go. Their inability to be able to move the sticks late in that game, it's either got to go to 85 or 18. And part of that was Kyler Murray was holding on to the ball too long. There were times in the first half he didn't find Marv open in the open field, and they're going to have to continue to iron that out. But that was the first time, Damon, and it's only taken about 18 games that Kyler Murray's been able to hit a deep ball with Marvin Harrison Jr. down the sideline. That was an absolute dot. More of that, please. Give Marv opportunities one-on-one to hit those throws with Kyler Murray, and good things are going to happen. Force-feeding him the ball at the end of the day will only lead to good things, in my opinion, Damon.
Yeah, Kyler Murray just needs to have Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride in the back of his mind at all times. Where, like, when he's doing his pre-snap evaluation, okay, Trey's in the slot here on the left, Marv's outside on the right, just to make sure, like, he just that's the fallback option. That's the safety valve is those two players in particular. And Marv was unreal tonight when his name was called upon. More of that, please. More of that. Because that looked a lot better than what we saw from Marv last season. That's for sure.
It did. And he looked more comfortable. He made that huge catch when it was 3rd and 11 for 12 yards to be able to get them out of their own end zone. Who knows? That would have flipped field position. Saints likely would have had the ball inside Cardinals territory to begin that next drive. Even though the Cardinals ended up not getting points there, that's so key for that first down. That led to, I think, a couple first downs before they had to punt. But again, like, 5 catches, not enough. I need to see 6, 7, 8 catches per game. And that's where you're going to have a chance to get some of those crooked numbers. I thought the Cardinals, listen, this is your one kind of mulligan because you got the win. You escaped New Orleans with a dub that you absolutely had to have. Now we need to see this offense look much more buttoned up, look refined. This passing game is already a chore. It's damn near impossible without a run game. And we saw that today, especially in the second half. When Drew Petzing didn't have his run game going, he is so run dependent that most of the pass plays are set up via the run. The pass game, which is already inconsistent, looks that much worse. So for me as a Cardinal fan, I watched this today, and you wipe your brow. You would have loved to see Kyler Murray pick up that 3rd and 3. The sack was, the absolute worst thing you can do outside of a turnover. But, man, there ought to be a play where you're just like, hey, Marv is single covered. We're going to get the ball out fast. I'll give Spencer Rattler credit today. He got the ball out quickly when he had to, right? Didn't take many sacks. Kyler Murray has to get on the same page with Marv and number 85, which he did last year, to get the ball out quicker.
Yeah. This, I think Kyler Murray was definitely trying to hold on to the ball a little bit too long on his sacks that he took. And conversely, you're right. Spencer Rattler was a gunslinger out there today, and not in terms of like his ADOT being super far. Like his average depth of target was not like 20 yards downfield, but he was really getting the ball out fast and making quick decisions and making the right decisions as well, which, I thought that he looked better than Kyler in that regard, which is not all that great. But this game was weird to me because it was kind of a combination of things looking a lot like last season, but also it culminated in a W, which in the past couple seasons when they've looked like this, you've lost the games. So it's almost like you're turning a new page on the new iteration of this team, but you still have to work out a lot of the same kinks that were the problems the last couple years. You
have to be able to win ugly, and this is a scenario in which the Cardinals have not done that the first 2 years under Jonathan Gannon. They were not a great road team, as we've outlined, and we're going to continue to outline that, plus Budda Baker as we enter overtime here on PHNX Cardinals. We want to welcome all of our friends from our many streaming partners. Jump on over to YouTube, go PHNX.com, subscribe, get us to 50,000 subscribers here on PHNX Sports. And speaking of Budda Baker, let's hear from the All-Pro safety en route to his game-saving pass deflection to end the game.
It was man-to-man. My job was to when the quarterback breaks on those seams like that and he throws it, my job is try to dislodge it. And JT's in man, he tried to dislodge it as well and got the ball out. Oh, both. We practiced that exact play in practice. So, our coach Nick Rallis, he gave the corners. He said, if it's an and go, I'll give you the liberty to just jump it, and that's what Will did. So Will's very smart. He remembered that and what Nick said, and he jumped it.
Yeah, you've got now a supremely gifted secondary, Damon, led by Budda Baker. I thought Jalen Thompson got better as the game went on. And then, of course, Garrett Williams, Max Melton, who made a couple nice plays, and then, inevitably Will Johnson. I mean, that's a group that they need some time to gel. And I think some of the concern, especially when Sean Murphy-Bunting was lost with a torn ACL in the offseason, was, well, how are you going to be without a key veteran, mid to late 20s? I mean, Garrett Williams is the veteran of this cornerback room. That's where you really have to rely on number 3 and Jalen Thompson to be able to help you bring games like this home. Because, again, Will Johnson, this is his first ever time, lacing up his boots for the first time to play a game, much less an NFL game, since I think last October at the collegiate level. And then Max Melton was only a part-time starter last year. I mean, you forget how young these defensive backs are.
Yeah. I think if you're Budda Baker, right, you're probably looking the last couple seasons around your defensive back group, and you're saying, where is everybody? Like, who are these people?
Right.
Why is there a Target employee and an Enterprise rental car guy right next to me? Like, how is this the defensive backs that I'm working with? And now he's looking around and he sees, the best cornerback in college football last season in Will Johnson.
Yeah.
He sees, Max Melton, who's a second-round pick. He's always seen Jalen Thompson, obviously. That's the one guy that has been right beside him the whole time. But for the most part, it's been kind of a lot of scrubs, to put it, lightly. And now Budda Baker gets to play with some actual studs. And, man, this group is fun and young. I'm doing verbal meme, Johnny. It's Master Splinter walking with all the baby turtles.
Yes.
And I'm envisioning a scenario where those turtles grow up into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it's Max Melton, and it's Will Johnson leading the way.
I think Noah and I are the only two people who got that reference here at the tailgate. We will take it, though. We will also take this. I believe we've got some Kyler Murray presser clips, some additional ones that we want to roll to. Let's check out more from the franchise quarterback.
I don't know. I was kind of emotionless over there at the end. I had a lot of confidence in the defense, but I wasn't really trying to watch per se, but I was watching at the same time. I mean, you can just tell. You just watch him move, his mannerisms, all of it. I've been around him for it's 2 years now, so you may not see it, but I see it. I can feel it. He's just more confident in himself. It is what it is. Facing adversity, like I said, it's the NFL. It's never going to be easy. How do you respond? I think that we did that well today. With obviously me, being a perfectionist. There's some things that I wish we could have done better. I could have done better. But in the grand scheme of things, what matters the most is you leave here with a win. And we did respond with it. When adversity hit us, we responded. So proud of the team.
Well, I don't think there's anything Kyler Murray can say in the post-game presser that's going to give his detractors, any hope moving forward. They're just going to have to continue to go about their business and put up wins, and he's going to have to play better. Like, you can get away with playing below average to average today against the team in New Orleans is clearly rebuilding, right? You're not going to play Spencer Rattler every week. You're going to have to play Matthew Stafford and the elites of the NFC. And that's when we'll really be able to take a barometer to Kyler Murray and how far he's come as an NFL quarterback. But, yes, is he an easy target for some because he's wearing the pink sweater and he's got he's under the weather today and that dropped this morning. Unfortunately, yes, that's going to have a target on his back. Does it bother a lot of us? No. But at the end of the day, when Kyler Murray is on, like we saw in that second quarter, and he's humming in this offense, he's as good as anybody that you're going to be able to get within the realm of possibility in the offseason. But when he's off and he's inconsistent and he's taking bad sacks, that's when his detractors come out and say, you got to trade for X, Y, and Z. You got to draft his replacement. I still think this is somebody that you're going to be able to win double-digit game with, and I think he's got a high-end ceiling that's largely untapped. It's up to the Cardinals, Jonathan Gannon and Monty Ossenford, to decipher when and how high that ceiling is, and if there's somebody else that they can get to bring in who can eclipse that ceiling. But nobody right now comes to mind, Damon.
No. It's the age-old discussion that we've had the last 2 off seasons as well, Johnny. When I was obviously producing this great program, but it's who are you going to go to? Sam Darnold?
Right.
Is it Aaron Rodgers? Justin Fields? Because these are the options that you have at your disposal if you're the Arizona Cardinals looking to make a change at quarterback. And frankly, Kyler Murray is just a lot better than those guys and a lot more intriguing of an option and has a much higher ceiling than all of those players do as well. So, I think, it's a discussion that we'll continue to have until Kyler Murray can, maybe win some playoff games and really start, making people, feel like he's for sure the guy, I guess. But mostly I'm just worried. I'm sitting here being like, did Johnny forget his pink Louis Vuitton cardigan in his suitcase? Because I thought you were going to wear, I thought you and Kyler were going to match in the post-game show.
That would have been absolutely electric. Unfortunately, that would have put me in a coma because it is it feels like 90-plus degrees here with the humidity especially. So I'm trying to take off pieces of clothing, not add a lovely sweater like our guy K1. So we appreciate that. We appreciate everybody liking this video. Again, the goal is 1,000 likes here on a post-game show. Let's jump into some Super Chats. I know we've had some Super Chats come in. Noah, my guy, would you be so inclined? Oh, we're still waiting for our first Super Chat. That's okay. Everybody hit that like. Again, all proceeds, by the way, our Super Chats are going to go to our friends at Big Brother, Big Sister. They do tremendous work. Become a Big today. There's information, links in the description about what great things Big Brothers, Big Sisters is doing, especially in the Valley. If you've ever thought of making a change, making a difference in somebody's life, take the plunge, become a Big. You will not regret it. Again, all proceeds the entire month going to our friends at Big Brother, Big Sister. I want to remind everybody, subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. We've got, let's go around the NFL. Damon, Dawg, as Seattle Seahawks hosting the San Francisco 49ers. I saw that at the last time I checked that game, it was tied. Has the score changed? It looks like the Seattle Seahawks are in a position to go in to the halftime with the ties. Bo Brock's going to join us here momentarily on studio. Damon, you want to go around the NFL?
Yeah. So, looking here across the league, you mentioned that Niners and Seahawks game, which is obviously the most important to us. That's 7-7 right now, about to go into halftime. The Packers are taking it to Noah's Lions 17-3 with 8 minutes left in the second quarter here. Titans Broncos in an absolute dogfight of a game. Johnny,
Gross.
who could have seen this coming?
Gross.
The Broncos aren't going to cover 8.5 points?
Fraud.
Shocking.
Fraud Broncos. We've talked about it, at least from an offensive standpoint. And then, of course, we are watching the health of Christian McCaffrey. I mean, he hurt his calf Thursday's practice, and I mean, if he's out, then the Niners are out unequivocally. McCaffrey 11 for 37, 3.4 yards per clip. 3 catches for 20 yards, relatively average. Not average is my guy, Bo Brock, joins us over an hour into the show, crushing it on site. JG, Kyler Murray, Budda Baker. Your immediate takeaways from this game, because I left New Orleans Superdome with our guy Noah, ran over here. Cardinals were in firm control, and then they weren't. And that got a little too close for comfort. Your immediate takeaway.
They survived.
Yeah.
They survived. They got an ugly win, and they're improved to 1-0, but this is a team that I think understands that there were a lot of plays that were left out there on the field.
Yeah.
Offensively, they had several chances to put this thing away, and they didn't do it. When you guys left, it was 20-10.
Yeah.
And there were multiple possessions that the defense had put them in a position to kind of put this game on ice.
Yeah.
And they never did it. Like, when you want to have the strength, the identity of your team to be, ground and pound and be physical, you got to be able to salt the game away at that point in the game to really kind of secure the dub. Instead, you got to rely upon Budda Baker and Jalen Thompson dislodging a football with final seconds of the game. It was unbelievable, and I can't believe that, with a 10-point lead as late as they had, that we were sweating that thing out into the final end. It was just really unfortunate. You had the sluggish start offensively, you score on 3 consecutive drives going into the second half, and then you just kind of fall off. It gets back to that stagnant type of ball, and you got to be able to find rhythm in that type of offense when you're trying to put the game away.
Yeah, I think a lot of people on Twitter, I've seen this take, the Cardinals' line of scrimmage wasn't great, and they've invested so much on their defensive front, and it wasn't good today. But I've made the argument consistently since the show started, like, Josh Sweat, Calais Campbell, Dalvin Tomlinson have not hit anybody since we were in Denver. Like, they've had a month off. They didn't play in the preseason. I know that unit is eventually going to get it right. Plus, by the way, I mean, they gave up 13 points. The offense, again, was the catalyst today for disappointment because, again, I think if you are able to cash in on just one or two of those drives in the second half, Saints team probably quits. They probably throw an interception. They probably go one-dimensional. The offense allowed them to hang around. I mean, the defense, 13 points per game, that's going to win you 9 out of 10 games consistently.
That's what Gannon said. It's like, hey, you give up 13 points, you're going to be in a position to win a lot of those contests. Give
me your assessment of this offense. Is it Kyler? Is it Drew? Is it all the above? Like, who shares the most blame today for the offensive ineffectiveness in the second half?
I think it was more so in the trenches. There was a lot of pressure out there. I mean, you got to have some credit be given to the defensive line of the Saints. I think they were a lot better than we anticipated.
Yeah.
You saw some guys really kind of get after Kyler. What do we know about Brandon Staley? It's kind of similar to Nick Rawlis, where they're going to disguise what they're going to do, and I think the Cardinals had a tough time understanding where the pressure was going to come from. You saw a lot of defenders breathing down Kyler Murray's neck way too quickly here, and that caused and disrupt their ability to kind of get rhythm going, especially like they would get to about midfield and then they would stall out. It wasn't like they couldn't sustain drives. They were outside of the final offensive drive where it's just like, hey, you can just put this game away, and you had probably your worst offensive drive of the day where you go 3 and out and you're going backwards, the final 2 plays of that drive. You were able to sustain it, and it didn't look smooth, broken record there. Week 1, I think a lot to really improve off. I mean, there were a couple things that you liked from this game, right?
Yeah.
Because you had Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr., over 10 catches combined, over 130 yards, a touchdown from Marv, the big explosive downfield. Like, you like that, but you don't like how you went stagnant in the second half and you left the door open.
Yeah, somebody who didn't go stagnant, our guy Damon, Dawg. We're going to let him drop off. Absolutely crushed it today on the pregame, on the halftime, on the postgame show, and all day on the watch lounge. Damon, you're the MVP today. We appreciate you, my guy.
Nice job. Bark, bark. Guy's been at it since, the Wildcats broadcast last night. Check that out as well.
Yes.
Damon in his element, what he was put on God's green earth to do was celebrate a Cats win and a Sun Devils loss.
We got over 500 watching live on YouTube. Hammer that like button. We appreciate everybody. Let's talk about Marvin Harrison Jr. He is our X-Factor player of the game. 71 yards on 5 catches, 8 targets.
Yeah.
Is that enough, in your opinion?
It's approaching.
To me, it's like 10 to 12. In a game like this, where you could have theoretically put this game away, third quarter, fourth quarter, I don't know. It did feel like the offense, Drew Petzing is so predicated on being able to run the football. And when that was not, it was clear that was not going to be able to happen today.
Yeah.
Like, those numbers were juiced up by Trey McBride and Trey Benson's one run and Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
You should have gotten together collectively in the huddle and said, well, we're just going to force feed 85 and 18.
Right.
And they didn't do that. They said, you know what, we're going to play field position, we're going to run the football. Yes, they got the win.
Yeah.
But again, look what happened when you force-fed Marv the ball in the second half or second quarter. It basically was your only offensive identity today.
Right. I mean, didn't he have more targets in the second half than he did in the first half?
Yeah, to me, no. But were they good targets, though? Were they high percentage throws?
I don't know if the offensive downfall was a lack of Marv targets. I think it was giving up pressure at the inopportune times.
Okay.
And you can look at scheme, you can look at up front, and you absolutely should look at it. I don't think it's like a matter of Kyler didn't get him the ball there. Like there were key, I think every third down that you converted, it was either in the hands of Trey McBride. There certainly was one in the second half. Marvin Harrison Jr., he takes a shot. He's able to secure that ball and move the chains there. But
that was a huge catch.
Yeah, it's just you need, up the volume even more so. Sure, like when you're like, hey, we got it to a point where it looks better, but does it need to increase?
Well, can I bring up a point here?
Yeah.
You're going against a Brandon Staley defense with, let's be fair, and the Saints don't have elite personnel defensively. No. Your third leading receiver was Tip Ryman with 1 catch for 10 yards. It's like, well,
who had that? Did you have that?
I did not have that on my bingo card. Here's the problem, and we go on fantasy football shows in the offseason, and we're asked by people, who is the third option? They don't have one. I think Michael Wilson's really good at football. I think Michael Wilson in a different offense probably flourishes. He's got 1 catch for 4 yards today. Zay Jones, 1 catch today.
Yeah.
This is an irrelevant topic with who's calling the plays right now. Not who's quarterback. I've seen Kyler Murray spread it out and being able to facilitate to multiple wideouts. Drew Petzing opened up the game in 13 personnel. That's what he wants to be. And right now, yes, It's going to limit your turnovers. Traditionally, it limits the hits your quarterback takes. That was not the case today. But it puts a limit on the amount of points you can score. It puts a ceiling on this team and their ability to have the big play. So, again, Tip Ryman as your third leading receiver with 10 yards is unacceptable.
Sure. Okay. I mean, look, we wanted to see them force feed Marvin and Trey McBride, and they did that in the form of 11 catches for over 130 yards.
But is this offensive effort good enough to beat the teams in your division?
I think the biggest thing that was missing today was the run game. Like you said, I mean, you take away the 52-yard rush by Trey Benson, and you're under 100 yards rushing the entire game. Like that, you want to be a bully in the run game. That's your identity, and you just couldn't do it.
But is it a winning? I've argued it's not a winning identity because
you run the ball better in the second half. That game is in hand.
Yeah, you didn't run the ball last year successfully against Minnesota or Seattle.
I thought when you needed to dial up a pass on 3rd and long, like they were way more successful today than they were
in the first half.
And early in the second half. Like I think what was missing was the running game. Like that's how you take the air out of the football.
I'll give you that for a day in which the pass protection wasn't great. But I also think Kyler Murray held the ball long too many times and missed some open receivers over the middle. Like I think this is one of those days where collectively you can blame everybody. Usually we can't put blame on the offensive line. The O-line, maybe not the pass catchers, Kyler Murray and Drew Petzing. Yeah. I mean, like, this is a game where you should have scored. You should have sleptwalked your way to 30 points.
Especially when it's 20-10. It's, plenty of time in the third quarter. You got a chance to pile on, and they don't. Like, that, there were so many chances to put that game on ice, and they didn't do it. And I think everybody understands where they fell short and where they left the door ajar for the Saints to try to pull off the upset. I mean, they're Jalen Thompson, dislodging that ball away from tying the game and forcing it to overtime.
Yeah.
It can't be that close. I know you covered, but you don't feel good about it.
Yeah, it's a win. At the end of the year, it's just going to be another notch in the win column, and a winning player today was Will Johnson. You haven't had a chance to talk about the 47th overall pick. I mean, we're critical of a lot of what's happening offensively. It's a budding star on the defensive side.
No doubt about it. I mean, you look at the box score, and the box score scouts out there aren't going to be able to tell how good of a game Will Johnson had, but you have one working eye.
He had 3 passes broken up.
Yeah, he broke up 3 passes. He had the pick that was nullified by the penalty, which I think was ticky-tack. The call it on Max Melton, far away from that play.
Terrible.
It's just unfortunate. And, we saw, like, he was the talk of the post-game locker room. You heard Budda Baker. Did you hear the clip about Budda Baker talking about Will Johnson on that play?
We played it for our audience.
That's a coaching point from Nick Rawlis, and he diagnosed it, he jumped it, and he made an unbelievable play. I was actually walking out of the stadium, and I saw a couple guys with a Will Johnson jersey.
Wow!
And I was like, "You got the right jersey today." Kid balled out, and he's like, "That's his dad right there," and his dad was just. Obviously a proud papa.
Yes.
He said he was getting, videos of that hit from all angles. So, Will Johnson arrived today. He really did. The exclamation point would have been if that interception was upheld, but he's still an unbelievable impact in this game.
He should have been – we got to let the rest of the games play out. He should be in the running for Defensive Rookie of the Week. He probably won't be because that interception was taken away, but 3 passes broken up, a big play that's gone viral on social media. We've got it on our Twitter account. I mean, it speaks to the video he put out, the article he wrote from the Players Association, basically how depressed he was and disappointed. Yeah. It's probably a better term, after he fell in the draft. Yeah. And then the Cardinals ended that fall, and he's come here. And, I mean, people thought we overreacted to training camp highlights, and I think everybody saw what we saw today during training camp. Yeah. Is you saw a special player emerge that is quickly going to become, with all due respect to Garrett Williams, who plays inside, the best corner on the Cardinal roster. I mean, he has a distinct ability for the football. He high-pointed that ball in the end zone. At no point did I think the receiver was going to bring that down. He's physical. I mean, he checks every box for you. Yeah. So the positives for me, the play of your young corner and your young playmaking wide receiver. And you can build on that. And I think Justin Fry taking over for Clayton Adams, offensive line hasn't hit in weeks. Like, I understand that. Yeah. But I trust the infrastructure of both lines of scrimmage to get that put together. I think the biggest question for me is the question I had going into this game is, when they need it, can this passing game resemble a high-level unit? Yeah. And I think that remains to be seen right now.
Well, I think the O-line, too, like, more to build off that point, is like when they do need it, when they're consistent for the majority of the game, but when it's the biggest part of the game. Like, they need to step up. Like, Kyler Murray needs a relatively clean pocket.
Yeah.
Like, he needs time to throw. That final drive, that third down play, he had no chance.
Yeah.
He had no chance. Or I'm sorry, was it a second down play?
I think it was third down.
Yeah, third down.
3rd and 3.
Yeah, it was just it was ugly. You know, the biggest quote coming out of the post game, it wasn't from JG, it wasn't from Kyler Murray, it wasn't from Budda Baker. We talked to all those guys, but there was Calais Campbell. There's a quote that guys kept on bringing up. He said, "That's the worst it's going to look."
I agree with that.
He said, "That's the worst it's going to look." Like, they understand that they got away with one, and that they have to improve if they want to be who they think they can be.
Yeah, 100%. We made the argument that this was an anomaly or an outlier for the special teams. Blocked field goal, long returns,
Yeah, I don't
not
think
great blocks for Gillikin.
He had his best punt when he needed it, but before that, you know, I don't think he was kicking the ball very well.
The
punting the ball
resume
very well.
of this defense, this coaching staff, the offensive line, it trends in the direction of it will bounce back.
Yeah.
And so when it does, you're probably going to beat these kind of teams by 20-plus points. Is the gap then closed when you play good teams? Let's reset here as we look ahead, Brack, to next week. The Arizona Cardinals move to 1-0 for the first time in Jonathan Gagner's tenure. First time they're 1-0 since that fateful 2021 season when they boat raced Tennessee on the road to click off Cliff Kingsbury's 11-win season.
Yeah.
Now we look ahead against the Carolina team that lost in embarrassing fashion, 26-10 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So they go on the road to Jacksonville. Then they have to fly across country to play the Cardinals. I told Noah this, and Damon, in a weird way, this is a game where could be a trap game, but this is a team that beat you last year to knock you out of the playoffs, and also you played like ass today, and you're going to get it corrected.
Yeah, this is March Madness, man. You survived and you advanced, right? You went 1-0. You didn't suffer the unthinkable loss to the Saints. And then you move on and hopefully correct the issues and then go up against the team that's down. This can't be a get-right game for Carolina. That shouldn't exist. I don't know. Like, this team at 0-1 and suffering a 16-point loss to the Jaguars, like, that needs to be a team that is in flux for the next couple of weeks, and the Arizona Cardinals are the team that's going to continue to apply the pressure.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a believer in Liam Cohen and the Jags, you know, in week 1. And Bryce Young, like, I think, you know, where they're playing meaningless football down the stretch, but surprising some teams, that doesn't tell me, like, hey, they've got over the hump. I see him place here, like 18 for 35, 154, 2 picks in that game.
Yuck.
You got to continue to do that to Bryce Young. Like, he can't have a repeat performance of last December. Like, he can't look like Spencer Rattler did. Like, you have to dial up the pressure. You got to do it, of course, in the Red Sea. Like, you have the advantage of playing at home. But, you have to look forward and say, hey, this is an opportunity to really kind of continue to apply the pressure and come off of a ugly win and then get some style points this upcoming week.
Carolina, no sacks forced in that game. You mentioned it, 2 picks for Bryce Young. Tedero McMillan, 68 yards, no touchdowns. Xavier Legette, no touchdowns. Only Chuba Hubbard scored the lone touchdown for a lot of that game. Carolina had 3 points. So, again, on the road, hostile environment in Jacksonville with the humidity. Now you travel across country, you lose a couple hours, or you gain a couple hours, but you lose your time zone. I think Arizona should be in a position to have a much better showing than they had today. I'm talking about a crisp offense. I'm talking about a defensive front that gets after Bryce Young. Jacksonville got home several times in that game. People are going to scoff at the opponent. They're going to scoff at the quality of win. It does not matter. Last year, they opened up with a lot of moral victories. Hey, a moral victory against Buffalo and a moral victory against Detroit.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, there's still losses, and the dubs still count, right? It doesn't. Strength of schedule does not matter unless it has to do with tiebreakers at the end of the year. We're not even close to that yet. Cardinals are going to take care of business next week because they have ample time. They've got an ability now to watch the tape, pivot off of what didn't work, and hopefully double down on what they do best. That's getting after the quarterback with this revamped front seven, and the offensive line dictating who they are. I mean, this offensive line looked good in training camp. It looked good against Denver at times in the joint practice against Kansas City. Again, I think this is an outlier performance, and I think they're going to assert their will next week. I'm sure James Conner's going to have a big day.
Yeah, I mean, you need to do that.
Right.
You can't have a couple performances like this against teams that just there aren't any expectations for them this season. You have to be able to apply pressure and really kind of get yourself in a spot where you're growing, you're developing. And if you come off and you have back-to-back performances like today, I think that people are going to say, hey, is this just going to be kind of copy-paste from 2024 to 2025? And people don't want to see that. They want to see progress. They want to see development. Like, sure, you have a couple things that you can kind of hang your hat on, like the Marv making a step today, I think, 5 catches, 71 yards, and a touchdown, including a big bomb down the field. And then you've got Will Johnson, of course, kind of arriving on the defensive side. But, like, you need more of that. Like, you need the complementary pieces. You need to fill in the gray area here, on the fly, and with, a chance to really do that against a down team.
Yeah. What do you think? How do you think the Cardinals should tweak their game plan ahead of this coming week against Carolina? I want to shout out everybody who's helped make this week such a success for us here at PHNX Cardinals, including, most importantly, our friends at Bird Gang Travel. If you haven't checked out Bird Gang Travel, do yourself a favor. The premier travel and ticketing site when it comes to traveling with the Arizona Cardinals.
Nobody does it better. It's their 10th year doing this, and they are just hit a next level. I mean, we had a party last night hanging out on Bourbon Street, having, Jake Plummer there in attendance. We're watching the ASU game. We're out here at the Copa. Like, you didn't have to think twice about anything. Tyler, Eric, Bird Gang Travel, man, they do it right. If you want to go on the road with your favorite team, you check them out, birdgangtravel.com.
Big thanks to Bo, Noah. We got Saul Bookman in the house.
That's
our
right.
guy Tyler for Bird Gang. We've seen Cam Cox. I mean, it's a great weekend for Cardinal fandom. To be able to travel on the road. I get it, the Saints aren't a great team this year. Have a victory. Cover the spread. You saw glimpses of greatness, right? Cardinals need to build on that. We're so fired up. Thanks for joining us on this post-game show.
How about the team back home, too? I mean, I thought Damon, Dawg crushed it. Espo, Shane, Leah, Emma, our interns, Owen back there, really just churning out unbelievable content for Cardinals fans because they want to know so much and see everything from that game. Like, all the highlights are right there up on our YouTube, on our Instagram, on our Twitter. Make sure you're following along on all those, and you subscribe as we make our way towards 50K.
Yep, thanks so much. Noah was a trooper. He got us up and running. We appreciate all of you. Like this video, subscribe, leave a comment down below. What's your level of concern for this Cardinal offense and your final win prediction for the 2025 regular season? For Bo, I'm Johnny. We'll see you mañana. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.